I grew up very poor, and my kids hopefully are not growing up poor.
You didn't go to school, high school?
No. High school, I left in high school. I think I left when I was 14, 15. I own a couple of companies. My main business is actually cannabis at the moment. I had a gaming company before the cannabis company. For me, iGaming means casino, and it means gambling in general. Gambling, I'm not a good gambler, so I try to stay away from that.
Okay, can you break it down a little bit? Who you are, what do you do for a living?
Sure, my name's Damon Booth. I own a couple of companies. My main business is actually cannabis at the moment. We operate legal farms in Central Asia, processing facilities in Europe. And the reason for this villa is actually one of my other ventures that we've got, which is a media company which focuses on streaming content for casino brands, sports bet brands. Obviously Malta's a gaming hub, so I've been here a long time. I had a gaming company before my cannabis company, but my main business is actually cannabis at the moment.
How long you've been in that industry?
5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah.
But before you started with iGaming or how?
I had a gaming company before the cannabis company, and before the gaming company I actually had a finance company, a wealth management company, all based in Malta.
When did you start for your own business, escaping from 9 to 5, or what was your first job?
My first job, I was selling phones in the UK when I was 18, 19 I think. And then I moved abroad, I moved to the Middle East with a wealth management company, which is also based in Malta, which is my connection to Malta. From there, I realised I wanted to set my own company up doing the same thing, which I did. Relatively successful, we sold it, and then I moved into gaming for a little while, then into the cannabis sector, now sort of coming back into gaming a little bit.
Why cannabis business?
Malta legalised it, and I saw an opportunity, sort of right place, right time, and we built a farm in Central Asia in Uzbekistan. It was an interesting business, not many people were doing it, so I sort of figured out where I thought the opportunity was, and we moved into that.
All right, and what problems you are solving with your business?
Cost of production, so we have now the lowest cost of production in the world for cannabis, so we want to get product to people at the cheapest possible solution. Cannabis in general is not cheap, so that was what we tried to do, try and make sure that we were a lot cheaper than our competitors.
Can you show a little bit about your place?
Sure. This is it's not my place. Yeah. It's one of our offices that we use for our streaming company. Downstairs we use it for content creation, so we've got streamers down there, there's a studio, and some of the streamers live here. They're based here full time, and then they go down, they stream live for casino streaming, sports bet streaming, that kind of thing, and obviously we use it for a little bit of fun sometimes. It's an office more than, for me, an office anyway. I don't get
It's not a full-time living?
No, not a full-time living, no, unfortunately.
Okay, but how big is it?
5 bedrooms, I believe, 4 floors.
Nice pool, but this is out of the season?
Yeah, we don't use it anymore.
And what area is it, you said?
This is Millionaire. It's sort of the place, I think, in Malta where most of the nice villas are. So when we were looking for a villa, this was the perfect spot.
Can you share how much is the
value? We rent it, so I can't share that, unfortunately.
And how long have you been living here?
They've been here now for 6 months. This is the first floor, the living room, kitchen, obviously terrace, pool area, and then downstairs, as I said, we set up a studio where the streamers are based. The company that leases it is a casino brand, and we work with the casino brand, so we create the content, we create the streaming content, and then, as I said, we put some of the streamers in here, so the bedrooms are upstairs. Jacuzzi room stroke gym. I don't think the gym gets used that much, to be honest.
Wow, nice bathtub.
So we've got the bath there.
Recreation place.
Hasn't been used much. Pool table, foosball table.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is our downstairs area. I don't come down here very much, to be honest.
You don't do anything here?
No, not really. I come and we watch the streaming sometimes.
For generating ideas, you have everything, like keeping yourself healthy and mindset.
Yeah, there's that, but it's also for the content for the streamers.
Yeah.
So,
what kind of content you are creating?
It's lifestyle content, right? These guys are making lots of money gambling, so they should be living in a nice environment.
Sure, yeah, that's important. But what are you doing specifically with yourself? Like own contents, or you don't?
I don't get involved. I'm a partner with the gentleman upstairs. I don't get involved in the streaming really. I'm considering maybe doing some podcasting in the future, but for now I'm pretty busy with what I'm doing, so I don't have time for that. So this is more for the actual streamers, the people that are living here.
What is the iGaming? Because people think about iGaming is something like with the console or what the people are doing, but I know that in Malta it is like popping up the business industry.
It's internet gaming, so it can be anything from where our involvement is casinos and sportsbook, which is classed as iGaming, but it can also be console gaming, esports, people that play online, anything anything like that. For me, iGaming means casino and it means gambling in general, but it's not necessarily just gambling. In Malta, I would say it's predominantly gambling now.
So one tricky or interesting question when people say that what you are selling, you shouldn't consume it. About your cannabis business and the iGaming, what you are doing?
I take some of my cannabis products for medicinal purposes. It helps me sleep. I also use cream and ointments and stuff that we make. So I actually use my products. Gambling, I'm not a good gambler. So I try to stay away. I try to stay away from it where possible. But yeah, you can see they've got the whirlpool bath. They've got an amazing view that they wake up to every morning. Shower and, if I'm not mistaken, the toilets in there, sink and stuff as well.
It's really cool vibe while working, living.
Yeah, if you get to live in this room, I think you're very lucky. I think the streamers are doing very well for themselves by living it.
Streaming only for iGaming?
Just for casinos, yeah, these guys do.
No OnlyFans?
No OnlyFans, no. Although it would be a good venue for that as well, I think.
Next time?
You could film some action in here.
You have to maybe hire someone for doing it. Recruiting OnlyFans for the bedroom to make a streaming. Yeah, I want to know about the scaling up your business and what's the strategy you are using for cannabis and also the iGaming?
Yeah, sure. I mean, with any industry cannabis is still relatively new. So you can't plan to scale the way you would with a traditional business, like we could with sort of wealth management, with anything else that I've sort of been involved with before. Cannabis changes too much, regulation changes the next day, you have no warning about it, so you can't really plan to scale. You just kind of have to adapt as is and grow. And I think gaming's a little bit similar, not as extreme, but we have a plan with the streaming company. We know how many operators we want to work with, we know what we want to do, and we just sort of still, we shift and adapt to get there. We don't set anything in stone because I don't think you can. Because if one regulation changes or you lose. Yeah, so you've got to be very fluid. I think with these businesses, you can't be in January setting out a budget plan or a normal plan. You just can't do it. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
And how much is it generating per year?
With the streaming company we set up only a few months ago, we're doing all right. We're doing pretty well. With the other company I have, we have an e-commerce site. It's doing okay. It's not blowing the world away, but we have a lot of regulation issues. We've got marketing problems. You can't market cannabis products like you can with other products. So it's doing okay, but it's certainly not, it pays for itself. But we're not killing it. But yeah, with the streaming company, it's taking off very quickly.
I want to know a little bit about the business. For the people in our community, they are hungry for the learning, starting their own business, escaping from 9 to 5 and shifting to their own financial freedom. What advice would you give to them to start in any business or specifically cannabis and iGaming?
Make sure you've got something that someone wants first. Make sure you can sell something. And if you can't have something that someone wants immediately, make sure you've got enough money to last until you find the product that's gonna, because otherwise the problem with most businesses I think is they run out of money. I think that's it. They run out of cash flow. It's hard these days to get money. It's hard to find investors. It's hard to get bank loans. Banks don't take these risks anymore. So for me, you find something that someone wants and then you build a business around that. You don't just rush in because you think you've got a good idea. 9 times out of 10, it might be a good idea, but it's not a feasible idea. It doesn't mean it's going to theory in practice, right? You can have the theory of it, but it doesn't mean it's going to work in practice. So I think you should always make sure the end thing is dealt with before you worry about the rest of it. The rest of it you can figure out. You can hire people. You can, get people to help you out. You can learn. What you can't do is the end product. You need to find the customer, whatever it is you're trying to sell. You've got to make some money somehow, or you've got to be, enough money in the bank to survive.
You believe in bank?
Not bank. What I mean is a phrase. For me, yeah. I mean, I struggle with banking because of my industry, so I don't really typically use banks either. But you've got to have enough money somewhere under the sofa, wherever you keep it. You've got to make sure you've got enough to.
You invest on the assets, or?
I invest in my businesses. That's it. At the minute, I'm more into my businesses, but each one has its own potential exit plan, and that's my sort of investment. Obviously, crypto, etc. I'm involved in, but for me, I've always put all my money into my business. Property before, some stocks and shares and stuff, but in general, I mean, crypto's been great over the past sort of 5-6 years. I was getting in a little bit early on certain coins, so I've always done okay on it. But then the swings are pretty outrageous as well. You have great months and great years, and you have terrible months and terrible years. So it's I don't put everything in one basket. I make sure we spread it about a little bit. I didn't jump into anything before I actually learned a enough about it to make that commitment. I think personal development is always important. I think, again, but that goes back to trying to learn something before you do it, before you jump into it. I don't think you need to be an expert of a stock or an expert of a crypto coin, but you should have at least an underlying knowledge of what crypto is and how it works before you chuck 50k, 100k in it, because then you will lose your money 100% if you don't know what you're doing to an extent. But again, you don't have to be an expert in anything, but you have to know a little bit about everything, I think.
With the Mellabis, what you said, your business name, and this is the Mellabis. How did you come up with the idea? What's the meaning of Mellabis?
It's just basically cannabis and Mela, which is in Malta. It's a Maltese word. Yeah, so at the time I was, we were very Maltese-centric as a company, so it made sense. The Maltese people that we were working with loved it. We ended up becoming not so Maltese-centric in the end, but it's, the name kind of stuck anyway.
I want to know something about your products, Mellabis product. What kind of cannabis product you are selling? Is it oil or cream?
Oils, creams, tinctures, edibles, gummies, vapes. We do a broad range of stuff. We grow low-cost biomass, and we sell the biomass to people that make the products.
Where are your fields? In Malta?
In Uzbekistan.
In Uzbekistan. How come? Like Uzbekistan is completely different area, Asia.
This is why we wanted to look for a low-cost solution. So we work with the government closely. We own a company over there called Uzcana, which holds the only license to grow cannabis in Central Asia. So we grow there specifically because it's low cost, it's high quality, the farming is amazing, and we're probably 80% cheaper than anyone in Europe could be.
So you are getting from there and then shipping.
We grow there, we ship it to Poland, to Romania, to Lithuania.
Mainly in Europe?
Mainly in Europe, yeah. Because the market is huge in Asia, but it's still not legal in most countries. So we have to only work with countries where it's legal. Economies need new industries, and this was always an industry that should have never been illegal anyway, in my opinion. In America, it's becoming legal state by state. Soon it'll be federally legal. Yeah. So, and America was the driver of it becoming illegal in the first place. So, you know, a lot of countries criminalized it because of America, and now America's legalizing it. So for me, it makes sense that the other countries will legalize it eventually.
Have you ever failed in your business?
Oh, 100%, yeah, many times.
What did you learn, or what caused?
I learned to sort of be more delegatory. So I used to delegate more now. Before I used to keep everything to myself, and eventually when something goes wrong, you're better off having people that are better at things than you are at specific areas, and that's what I learned. So now I only do something if I've got people around me that are better than me at those specific things, and I'm very happy to offload that work to them now. Whereas before I used to keep everything sort of in my brain, and that's not a good thing.
Does money buy happiness?
No, it doesn't. What it does do is it buys you freedom of what to be happy about. So if you're miserable, you're miserable. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or not. But what a billionaire's not miserable about is putting food on the table, paying his electricity bills, right? So if you don't have that option and you are struggling with money, then you're not happy anyway. But a billionaire can still be miserable.
What financial advice or personal development advice you are delivering to your kids?
To try and work hard. I grew up very poor, and my kids hopefully are not growing up poor, so they're going to have a little bit of a different environment. So we're focusing more on education with them than I focused on. I didn't really focus on education when I was growing up. So we're pushing them more down the educational route and hard work, but it's difficult. You know, they have a quite, I don't want to say easy life.
What's your education background?
I didn't go to school.
You didn't go to school? High school?
No. High school, I left in high school, yeah.
High school, dropout, scaling up your...
I think I left when I was 14, 15, and then started getting jobs from there, really.
Thank you very much for your time, and I really appreciate for your time. Also, people want to reach out to you, mellabis.com or...
Mellabis.io.